just continue to win more money too. This is another about $80,000 that they win as they grab the cup here.
That's right. Maybe they're using all that money to get like cybernetic implants or something like that. Who knows? And there they are, SK Telecom, champions of Champions Winter. What a season for these guys. And I gotta say,
who is going to stop them? That's the question. It's
exactly,
like, I mean, somebody has to rise at some point in order to give them a run for their money. But
you know,
their play is just so flawless. Their shot calling is so extraordinary.
We're so early in 2014. You know, it's hard to say what's going to happen by the time Worlds rolls around this year. But I mean, Worlds is going to be here in Korea, and I can't think of any other team that wants to win it on their home turf more than these guys. And got a good chance. We'll see.
This is the point where we actually start asking ourselves, is SK Telecom really the first bourgeois in League of Legends? Because it's a term that was used in StarCraft Brood War to denote the masters of the game, the most dominant players of all time.
Well, I think we can certainly call it a dynasty at this point. Insane. I really cannot believe just how good these guys are. And the thing is, you see a lot of teams with specific stars on that team, but there is no other team out there where every single member of the roster is that good.
And can pick up where the other ones, if somebody you know, gives a little slack, can't quite pull their weight in the game, there's always the next man on SK Telecom to stand up and, you know, carry, basically.
Like if somebody has a bad game on SK Telecom, that means they maybe died twice. That's about it.
We're going to go into a bit of an interview with the team now, find out who our MVP of the season is.
That's right. That's right. It should be pretty close this year, actually. This season, rather.
All right, so Choker here to wrap up the finals. And as Monty and Joe are going about, let's first hear what the winners have to say, starting with the director and manager of the team. First of all, I think today is just a testament of how hard our players prepared. You know, they were prepared physically and mentally. They had no breakdowns throughout the final today, and let alone the season. Let's look at that. And he says, so yeah, I think it just all goes to show the hard work and effort that goes into this. And of course, you know, sitting here, or standing here rather, with this trophy once again, it's just, it's much different than the first time we were here. And let's see what he thinks is the secret to just running directly to the trophy. You know, the 18-0. What a streak. As I've said before in an interview, I think this season is just the season for us to have made history in all ways. Just to kind of really pinpoint it as a landmark for League of Legends esports here, and of course SK Telecom. And it could have only been fulfilled by winning this trophy with that winning streak. You know, these guys, they've set all sorts of records and histories this season. Here's Goma, the coach. I'm not, he says, I'm not teary-eyed. I just, my eyes tend to get a bit bloodshot when I'm very nervous. So that's just probably why I look like I'm about to cry.
Sure, Goma.
Of course, the first team to win two titles, let alone 2 titles in a row in Champions. Well, first of all, thank you to everyone, and you know, for people who are watching, it may have seemed like an easy road, you know, 3-0 final, 18-0 season. It seems like it was a cakewalk, but I promise you, that is not what the players experienced this season. You know, you only saw the tip of our victory and the tip of our work during the matches, but these guys had to work so hard. They had to go through so many stressful moments of preparing, being anxious about their matches. The players were legitimately afraid of some of their opponents. And I promise you, the things you don't see, the things that happen behind the scenes in preparation, my players had to go through so much, and that is why we stand here today. And of course, thank you to the family members of the players, and also their sister family, or sister team rather, excuse me, for their preparation. Now let's talk to the players. Of course, first up is Faker. His mouth is frozen, doesn't know what to say.
되게 많이 기쁜 것도 있지만 또 이번에 2위에 우승을 했으니까 다음에 또 열심히 해야겠다는 그런 긴장감이 더 큰 것 같아요.
I mean, of course, I'm so happy to have won, but listen, I'm actually kind of nervous right now. Having won 2 titles now in a row here at Champions, immediately what I'm thinking right now is that there's just so much more expectation on us for the next season. We have to live up to this record, and so I'm already nervous for the spring season. And yeah, Caster Jun was asking, but listen, you had to stand in the finals for the World Championships. This is your 2nd time on the finals for Champions, and you're still nervous? He says, well, yeah, you have to imagine. I mean, we're very happy right now. Perhaps you can't tell, we are very happy. But just looking forward, man, like, what does this mean for us?
다대가 2판 4판으로 막 진짜 이렇게 밀어붙일 생각이었는데 진짜 오늘 테이크만 잡겠다는 생각으로 왔는데 들어가서 주고 뭐 이렇게 하면서 별 부담 없었어요?
별로 부담이 없었고요.
And talking about his lane matchup, he says, I didn't think of much coming into this match. That's it, and then we won. And so I never really thought of Dade as like a rival or anything like that. And there were a lot of people saying that, well, Faker's obviously above Dade or things, and I think I proved myself straight from game 1. And so that's just the end of that.
솔직히 막 10연승 막 이러고 있을 때는 계속 이기고 있는지도 몰랐는데 막 어느새 막 주위에서 계속 말해주더라고요.
Bengi, the jungler, who's grown so much, and he says, yeah, when we were already in like our 10th, win, our 10 winning streak, he says, I didn't even know we were on a winning streak, but then slowly, once we hit the double digits, people around me were telling me, hey, did you know, like, you have 11 wins now, 12 wins now, and then it started clicking, and here we are, well, perfect record.
너무 좀 쉽게 이긴 것 같아서 좀 마음 한편이 좀 찝찝하기도 해요.
Bengi picking up the trash talk. Well, to be honest, it just feels like we won a bit too easily, and so it just doesn't feel right, standing here with this trophy.
분들한테도 좀 미안하고 좀 그런.
한 명은 나가도 100만 골 따오고 또 우승했는데.
And this is what makes SKT T1K the team they are. It's hard to even blame them. Like, these guys are so engulfed in the game and their own play, and just about them doing well. It's not even arrogance. It's not even narcissism. That's just the world they know. And so it's hard to tell if they're being arrogant or that's just the reality they know. And I knew Piglet was going to say this, having seen his face and his play today, but he opens up with it saying, well, I'll be honest, I'm actually really sad right now and about to cry because I played so horribly. I'm very discontent with how I played, and you can see it. And this is Piglet. Like, this is straight up a portrait of Piglet. Of course, sadly, unfortunately, it's a sad moment for him. But yeah, he's actually crying right now, and this is him. Those of you who saw my interview with him in conjunction with Machinima VS, and also in his pre-game interview today, you saw that he said, I have never been more mad at myself than when we lost to Ozone, because I had to admit that I was worse than Imp, that me and Pumandu were worse than Imp and Mata. And that just made him so disappointed than he has ever been before. And here he is again, even though they just won. He's like, but I played horribly. How could I feel good about myself? This, Caster Jun says, I have never seen a player cry because he won but he played badly. Like, he won a trophy while playing badly, and therefore he's crying legitimate tears of sadness right now. Happened just to try to cheer him up, but knowing Piglet, that's not going to cheer him. The only thing that's going to cheer him up is if he can take another trophy while playing well and carrying the game.
Or his third yacht he's about to buy.
I mean, it's that kind of passion, though, that really drives people to become the best.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's why they're up there.
And so here we have Pumandu now.
좀 감개무량하고 저희가 이번에 최초라는 타이틀을 엄청 많이 얻게 됐는데
So today we set a lot of records, as people have said. You know, the first of several things and the highest win streaks. And I hope that we can continue to have these titles for ourselves. I hope we can continue to set more records. For those of you who watch OGN regularly, you may notice that Pumandu looks a little out of it today. He's actually suffering from a severe cold, as were some other members of Samsung Blue that I saw, and I think they were saying one of their teammates in Ozone also. Nasty cold going around, but Pumandu, of course, has recovered just enough to make sure they can win the trophy.
근데 오늘 경기 끝나서 좋아할 거예요. 이게 또 휴가가 있어서.
네, 저희 SK텔레콤 진짜 원하던 전승까지 왔습니다. 앞으로.
So Pumandu just saying that, well, you know, like we are really happy. We're very happy, and once we get off the stage, we'll be celebrating.
6월에 또 리그가 있는 걸로 아는데 거기서도 저희
And
팀이
I know that there's another league coming up,
전승 우승한 것처럼
presumably speaking of Masters.
상대 팀은
And he says, you know, I hope we can continue.
상대팀을 좀 찍어 누를
Yeah, he said, I hope we can continue our record and our superiority, even in that extra league, to make sure that we can prove that it's not just a fluke, that we are the best name in League of Legends. And it's funny because he had to pause. He was like, well, so I want to make sure that we can prove that we can crush our opponents. May have wanted to use a stronger word, but I had to hold his tongue there.
역대급으로 1세트 잘하지 않았어요, 본인 플레이?
1세트요? 문제했던 판이요?
본인 오늘 경기 또 까먹고 다음 또 맞서 생각하고 있는 거 아니에요?
제가 한 거 했다고 생각을 했는데 잘했나 봐요, 보기엔. 저 만족해요.
And he says, well, you know, I don't know if I necessarily played well, but I think I did my share. You know, I'm not so sure like if I played extraordinary today or anything like that, but I think I carried my weight, and that's good.
어느 정도를 해야 되겠어요? 목표
저 군대 갈 때까지.
몇 살이죠 지금?
저 지금 20이에요.
And so, asking about what his goals are in League of Legends.
한 24?
다섯?
And he says, so he was like, well, you know what? I hope I can stay at the top until I go to the military. And that's when I'll quit playing professional gaming League of Legends. And he was just saying he's currently 20 years old in Korean age, so 19, depending on his birthday. And he says, well, you know, how long do you think I can stick around? And Cassio's like, maybe 24? Maybe you can hold it off until 24? He's like, let's go for 25. Let's stick around until 25 before I go into the military.
그래서 정말 다행이라고 생각하고요. 이런 팀을 만나게 해준 코치님과 사무국과 최병원 감독님한테 감사함을 전하고 싶어요.
Impact, still speaking, just says, I also want to just thank all of our management, our coaching staff for bringing me into this team to be able to share this moment with these guys. So, I'm very thankful for that.
항상 뭐 지금은 정상에 있지만 언제든 질 수 있고 내려갈 수 있다고 생각해요.
The thing I forgot is, I say this in every interview, but while we may be at the top right now and seem unbeatable, I always know that you actually never know. You never know who's going to come up and take us down. You never know what kind of twist of fate might happen, and I want to let our fans know that that's always on my mind, and therefore we will always be preparing for the unknown so that we can actually continue to stay at the top. So congratulations once again to SK Telecom T1K, the world champions of Season 3, the champions of Champions Summer 2013, and now the winners of Champions Winter 2013-2014.